Well, I know I didn't plan on being on here for a while. Matter of fact, I was going to stay off here until after the holidays. Uh, but I thought I had this whole story, comedy. One of those stories that, even though it's not real, it has some realism about it. In other words, it could fit a lot of different places. It takes place down south. Yeah, it takes place in some ground that people might call a swamp. To me, it's just flat land with a little high water on it, but a beautiful place to be if you're born and raised there. And there was a few people that were in this little town down there. And they named it after a little creek that runs through it. And these people, they were tough people. They were tough enough to they could drink turpentine just like moonshine and smile while they did it. Have a good time. Yes, sir. Generations of people found out they could make something out of a little bit of nothing. Wasn't too many people bothered in there because, well, good old boys club. Well, that's what people out of town said, but actually, people who live there, it's more like a family. And I would like to think that as well. Yeah, I live in a small town, and I've lived in a lot of small towns, and I always enjoyed it. But of course, I didn't pick on people because I knew better. If you want to be part of a town, you have to be part of it. You can't pick on it. You can't give it hell. You can't try to burn it down. Things like that. You either join or you get. I'm going to tell you about, first of all, some that did get. They got what they could get and then they got out. A lot of gots and gets in there. As I go on, you'll kind of get the idea of what I'm talking about. Oh my. Yeah, well, you see, in any little town like that, their power rests in a few because there's only a few people to have power over, correct? So a lot of times they're not in there to really get anything because what are you going to get? There's nothing to get. You got to have something. But anyway, it's a good way to sit and meet and have a good time. It's once a month you can get together, see what you got to talk about. See what you get an idea of what I'm talking about when you put got and get together. Go together very well. We see outsiders come to town and they're walking around, and here these people are out there on their front porch, smiling and waving, drinking a little bit of sweet tea, having a good time. After all, generations have been there sitting on that same porch. Family. The whole town's a family, in a way. You get some good ones, you get some stinkers, but they've all been there a while. So you get some people coming in and say, "Hey, I like this. I can do something here." Now, there's not much you can take out of there because there's not much to take. But if you bring enough outsiders in, then you got something you can get from them. And when you get enough, or when you got enough, you can get. Well, there would seem there was a couple came to town and they needed something to be able to finish the project they were on, and they couldn't finish the project because those that were kind of running things around there wouldn't let them have the proper documentation, or maybe that there was reason for it, and those people didn't like the reason. They wanted it handed to them without doing the proper things that you had to do to get this piece of paper. So what they did is they said, "Well, we have people here that rent from us. We'll just get them to vote for us." I mean, what choice do they have? They're on my ground, right? That worked out pretty well. After a few months, they got what they wanted to get. See, that's where this comes in. And they got out of there because, well, they have a thing where they can make money just like a video. Put a video up there. People pay for that. Commercials, things like that. But they won't do it for just anything. I mean, You take a little town like that, it's kind of boring unless you live there all your life. There's not a whole lot to do there. I mean, they don't have movies, no bowling alleys, no big grocery stores, just a few streets, tainted water. Matter of fact, you can take a spoon and get down into the water table just with one dip. Okay, you get water everywhere. Well, what the heck? If you're used to it, no big deal. You have plenty of game out there. You can go hunting, fishing. You see, if you're from there, you know all the things you can do. But if you don't, if you're not from there, there's things you want to do that you can't do. Don't make sense, does it? Well, they had some ground there, and they thought, we can't do that. We can't. There's not a whole lot of money we can make off from it, and the state won't let us build all the things we'd like to build on it. We can't change the terrain because they have this law about the water rights. Hmm. A lot of can'ts in something like that. But you have to figure out what you can do to make the can'ts go away. Well, these people came into town. And they said, "Hey, if I'm running the town, I can do something that I couldn't do before." And in 6 months, not only did they prove it, they got what they needed, and they were able to find somebody to buy what they had so they could get. And that's what they did. I tell you how smart they were. This is, you're not going to believe this story. Now, the people who live there, they're smart. I mean, real smart, because they were living in a place, didn't cost them a whole lot. Taxes are cheap, and they're not paying somebody to do for them because the life is easy there. They can do for themselves. It's easy. But if you come from somewhere else and you want more than what was offered there, you sell what you had, what you got, and get. That's what they did. So they go out and they buy themselves an RV. That's smart thinking. With an RV, you can get going with what you got. The problem here is that the reason they got what they had was they were renting out to other people that had RVs. In other words, those people came in and paid them for the right to park on the property. So what happens if you buy an RV and you get the money you got from those people, the money they give you, you are now paying to somebody else. You're giving them so that you can be God. You got what you wanted. Now you're going to give some back to somebody that had what you had. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. You just got God because now instead of coming in, it's going out. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't mess it up too bad for you. So you got, I mean, you went the trail, you went as far as you could go in this continent, went clear up there and then come back. And on the way back, it probably you realized, oh shit, I don't have a place to stay no more. I got to give the rest of my life because when I got out of there with everything that I had that people gave me, give me, God, all runs hand in hand to me. That's what I think. So you had to buy something. Well, you already bought something. You bought an RV and you lost 40 cents on the dollar as soon as you went out the lot. Oh, that don't matter. You're having fun. Well, that's why people were giving you something that you already had, something that you got. They were giving you so you would let them share with you. You made the money back then. Now you're handing it out in big handfuls. What took you a long time, you were spending it in just a few months. Oh well, that don't make that nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, you're a lot smarter than the guy that was sitting on the porch in that little town, drinking that sweet tea, watching you do all these things. I mean, I don't think he was laughing at you. I mean, didn't he wave and smile at you on your way out of town like that? Singing, there goes that Yankee, that carpetbagger, he's gone. But then you get the idea, well, if I have a video, I can talk about people. And the one that made the most money talks about him in a bad way, that little town. Talks about everybody lives on every corner. He calls them rug dealers. Now you see where I got this carpetbagger thought related? Yeah, sure. You see, you have to talk, if you want to talk bad on here, on a video, you have to talk like a fool. Everybody out there knows what they're saying when they say rug. After all, you got a subject with a big D there, don't you? D for dumb. Can't talk like a normal person on here because somebody destroyed it for you. They were opportunists. And so you can't talk regular English. Can't remind you of those people that come down there and they've got this big deal where they're going to make something big. And then as soon as they get a little bit, they get. They leave with what they got. And then they give back quickly. And then they talk about where they came from. They can't go back there no more. They had to buy an estate a long ways away. Ooh-wee. Of course, now look, they're so smart. They still keep this big mammoth so that they can travel. And one of them did, went to another state. Now they take care of two places. You see what I mean? That didn't work out too well, did it? Yeah, that guy back there in that little town that they left, there was such a hurry to get out of there. He was smart. He's still drinking his sweet tea on the porch, looking at the next fool comes in there to take advantage of him. You see, his people have been there for centuries. They know who's who and who'll last and who won't. They just sit back and wait till you leave. You go back to living the life they had, and they do very well. You see, they have a roof over their head and they have food on the table and they have a good time on Saturday night. Once in a while, they go to a meeting uptown so they can laugh and joke about the next one coming along. Oh yeah, they have their troubles too. Yeah, big guy come to town. Of course, he bought some swamp ground. They're getting ready to sell him some stock in the Golden Gate Bridge. You see, they won't sell him the bridge because if they sell him stock, that's never ending. And if he's foolish enough to buy the bridge, he'll buy the stock, right? Well, talking about stock, he understood, B and B's are a big thing. Well, they were. They're off about 35% right now. I think it was a big deal for a while, but now it's kind of slack. Had something to do with inflation. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but you understand it very well if you have to go out there and start all over again. Inflation will eat your money up quick. Now he did buy some swamp ground. Yeah, I mean, what are the people there going to do with it? You can't hardly build on it because all these laws that were passed about water rights, and you can't move ground any way you want to. Uh, you might break some laws, federal and state laws, and municipal laws. You never know. If you're from out of town, you'll never know until you try to do it, and then you'll find out. And this guy said, "Well, you know what? I bought some ground. I'm gonna get all my buddies in here, and then we can change this thing." Yeah, they came down there, and this guy handed them all buckets. Of course, these people, they're from town. They're city slickers. They didn't know what the buckets are for. They found out right quick, and kind of a sticky mess. Did I say sticky? Stinky. That's what I meant. You have to take and dump it out there somewhere. It's a lot of fun. Well, it seems that one thing that it didn't have there, it didn't have a good way of getting rid of crap. See, somebody sold them a whole big piece of ground with crap on it. Yeah, well, if there's some empty ground out there, people use it for other things. What did they think they was going to have? Oh, well, hey, look, you fill it up enough, you can sell it to somebody and let them clean it up. And then when they leave, and they eventually will because they're not from there, and they'll never be welcome because they made themselves unwelcome. They pissed off every neighbor within a mile. I mean, what makes them a neighbor? Well, you have good neighbors and you have neighbors. Bad neighbors you don't talk about and you don't mess with them. Big deal. I mean, that's after centuries of getting along, you get along without. You don't bother. Let them go their way. You learn after a while. But if you're making money off them talking about them, but you can't talk about them really in town there too much. Well, you can, but it gets you in trouble. Yeah, because eventually you're pissing them off. Well, anyway, the guy ends up with a whole bunch of it in his lap. He spent a lot of time cleaning it up, made a little money cleaning it up, believe it or not, because people said, "Oh, we feel so bad for you. We're going to help you out. So here you go." And he takes that money and he hands it to somebody else. Hey, you clean that shit up. Oh man. Oh, did I say something like shit? Well, see, I wasn't talking about the things you were thinking about. Shame on you. What is the matter with you? When you're talking about crap, it doesn't always mean something that you defecated out there on the ground. Oh well. And people have a different sense of humor, I guess. After all, this is what this is all about. It had nothing to do with you out there. This is just a story for anybody who wants to listen to it. It's a story, comedy. I mean, let's think about this a little bit. It could happen, couldn't it? Or did it? Anyway, so along comes some more people out there, and they're being nice. They call these people reality. Is it reality? Realty, reality. That sounds pretty close. Anyway, this guy buys some candy Candy. Yeah, it was a sweet deal. That's what you call it, candy. It was a sweet deal. Yeah, I'm telling you, it really was. That beachfront front property, kind of dull looking. They had these concrete things out there. You gotta be careful when you walk out onto the beach. It's got that stuff. No, it wasn't. It's not white sand. No. Matter of fact, I don't even know who cleans that up. Oh, that don't matter. Ideas are these condominiums were a sweet deal and buy them. Spend all kinds of money. Well, wait a minute. This guy don't have no money. Or no, he's. I stand corrected. He says he don't have any money. Now I'm confused. Nobody else was confused out there because I mean, if you don't have the money to buy anything and you have to get people to give you money, oh, now I get it. Why didn't I think of that? If you ask people to give you money, you can go out and buy condominiums, right? I should have thought of that. You know what? Maybe I'll take a trip down there. The best thing I could do is come down this spring in nice weather and bring me a whole bunch of them Yankees down there with me. Say, look here. And then I could sell them something. But that wouldn't be fair. I've already been beat to it. There's very little left. You see, most of them up there aren't that foolish. They're not just going to take my word for it. I'm going to have to string them along a little bit. Well, wait a minute. What if I already had a lot of people that I strung? Then they would buy it from me because they would take my word. And if you told them that it wasn't worth it, they wouldn't listen to you because this guy brought all these people down there and he's going to stick you with all them people that he brought down there, right? Oh, oh, Lord. That's like a perfect storm. But they're used to storms, hurricanes, and things like that. I mean, what can imagine a hurricane? I mean, it tears the town apart. Well, wait a minute. Why did we name this guy after a hurricane? Flip a console, flip the town. Make some of these people that pissed other people off leave. Wow. Not only do you have a hold of yourself when you do something like that, you have a hold of all this valuable countryside that nobody really wanted in the first place. You came down and bought it. Joke's on you, buddy. Oh, well. Oh, wait a minute. What am I thinking about? It really isn't. Because you see, he didn't really do all that. All these people that followed him and still do all the way around. They laid the red carpet down for him. All he has to do is tell him what he wants, what he needs. It's provided. Yeah. He may not be smart, but he knows how to get that bucks. But he didn't get it off from the guy that sat on the porch with the sweet tea, the guy that has been around there everywhere. He got the last laugh because he's watching him come and go, watching him spend all that money. He's just keeping a hold of his money because he knows eventually that guy's going to be gone. He's going to get what he wants, and he's going to take what he got and get. Just like that one that ran for mayor, got what they wanted, and then they get. But I wonder if they really wanted what they end up with, what they got. Because now you see the very thing they made money off, they now own one of them. It's a money pit called an RV. Yep, that's what they got. And they lost 40 cents on the dollar the day they got it. I don't know how they're going to get it back. They just got they were getting and they're going and they got it. Okay. And then they bought well, wait a minute. They bought property that was more expensive in another state. There was a lot down there where they were at. Well, they didn't want to be where they were at because they wanted to get. That's why they took what they got and got out of there, and then they were getting up the trail, right? All these gots and gets and stuff like that. Not a lot of giving, but a lot of gotten and getting. They went back to where they came from. Some of them. Well, we don't know where they really come from. They just come from all over. Except for the guy in the porch drinking a sweet tea. He's came back laughing and saying, mm-mm, "Not me. You ain't getting me." Yeah, he stays out of the mix. I'm not saying everybody stay out of the mix. Some of them are out there. The guy's got to make a living, right? If you're smart, you just say, "I don't want no part of this," and you stay back. You see, it's kind of a sticky trap. You get stuck in it. You're got, and you can't get. So what do? Make a mess of things. That's all. That's all you can do at that point. And why? What a fix to be in. Don't ask me why I know. Well, this story goes on and on, and they figure out how can I make any money? What it comes down to is you make it off from those that are foolish enough to follow. They put something out there and tell you a story, and they tell you this is truth. It's not a story quite like mine. I'm telling you, this is a comedy. I'm putting it out there just so you can get a good laugh out of it. I don't get anything out of this. No, it's just a story. It's a comedy. That's it. You can laugh, you can kick back and have some fun with it if you want. You can put it to reality, I guess, if you wanted to, because reality is nothing more than a story out there. And no matter what you say or do, it's being matched somewhere out there because this is a big world. It has a lot of things going on. After all, a story is nothing more than what you've run across in your life, and you can make a mountain out of a molehill if you want to. Speaking of, that's what happened there for sure. Yeah, they started picking on a neighbor. That poor old neighbor was gotten. Yep. In all truth, they probably come there to get something, and they got something else. You see, there's get got in a different venue, and now they're still being gotten. Of course, it's not always fair. It isn't. But the people in that little town, it's a small town. They don't have a lot to give, so unless there's something that can be made, a video, they'll make some money so that they can get your money. And then when they've got enough, wait a minute. Some people can't get enough. So what they've got won't make them get. Does that make sense? This got and give, there's a lot of things tangling those two words up. Oh, there's another G word. Give. Give me so I can give. Oh, wait a minute. Where does that come in? If you're poor, and I put one of these up here, and I'm poor, and I say, if you give me, I will give you. If I come up with it first, you might give me something. But what if I don't give you something back? You're going to get pissed off at me eventually. Well, wait a minute. If I say over and over that I'll take care of you, then you can copy me. That sounds like a pyramid scheme. Where have I heard that before? No, that's not Egyptian. Wait a minute, I don't think so. Can you use this scheme if you're Egyptian? I mean, isn't that where pyramids come from? There again, I don't know. I'm just coming up with something to talk about. That's it. Something to joke about. Anyway, there's more to it than this, but I'm not so sure I'm going to get back on here in a while. Quite frankly, I don't feel that great. But this came along and I thought, why not? Why not give other people a little gift? Doesn't cost you a penny. Just sit back and kick back and listen to it. Just like that guy in the front porch in that little town drinking his sweet tea, having a good time. He's smiling. They used to do that all the time. That is until so many people start taking pictures of him doing that. And no, he can't pee in the front yard no more like he used to be able to. Go behind a tree and pee. That's not going to be any. And you can't even go in your backyard and do that. There's all these cameras. There's more cameras than there are people in that town. What a gift came their way. But like all things, it'll change someday, and peace will come back in the valley. Oh, wait, there's no valley there. It's all flat ground with a little water on it. But you know what I mean. But after all, this is an area with some people that were extremely tough. They couldn't have lived there. They couldn't have settled there unless they were tough. And I congratulate them. You're going to outlast the storm that's there. Believe me, you will. And yes, this is a comedy, and I'm being honest about that. This is a comedy, and hopefully the shoe doesn't fit. I don't want to hear any screaming at the end of this, but take it with a grain of salt. You can melt ice with salt, by the way. But I'll see you later. I don't know how much later. I really don't feel like doing a whole lot of stuff on here. I just came across this and thought, why not throw it out there? Maybe somebody can laugh a little bit. With that, you have a good day.